So, I started going through the New Testament near the beginning of the year, and I've been doing it all through. We're just about done. The last book is Matthew. I did them in chronological order as they were written, so I'd get a better idea of the history that went along with the story. And it was my actual goal not to make videos, but my actual goal was to read the entire New Testament out loud, which I've never done before. I mean, I've read it plenty of times, but I've never read it out loud. And I thought, what better way to read it out loud than to make videos, because you have to read it out loud. And, a few people can go along and listen, and when you listen to something out loud, you remember it better. I found this page over here, and we'll go over there, of why reading things out loud is good for you. Okay? Number one, reading out loud improves your memory. The very act of forming words and saying them out loud increases your ability to remember them. Research has proven that the production effect, what happens when you physically say the words, improves memory. Think about it. When you sing songs, you're more likely to remember the words than if you just listen to them. Remember the nursery rhymes you heard when you were a kid? You probably remember them because they were spoken out loud to you when you repeated them, not because you read them. And actors, they remember lines in part because they are articulating them. Even mouthing the words and shaping them with your lips, even without making a sound, can help you remember them. The theory is that those words become distinctive if a physical movement accompanied them. Over and over, research has shown that reading out loud improves memory functions. Even elderly patients with dementia have shown increases in memory after reading sessions. Well, you should read this out loud by Sophie Hydrarch reiterates that what research has shown. People consistently remember words and text better if they read them aloud than if they read them silently. Okay? Reason number two, reading out loud increases your comprehension of ideas. Even putting together a kid's toy, or a piece of ready-to-assemble furniture and struggling with poorly written directions, you probably read them out loud, slowly to help you understand them. Hearing the words orally helps understand and internalize them. In fact, research is starting to show that the act of listening is an important element in learning how to read. Children cannot comprehend written text that they can't understand orally. Adults, too, benefit from hearing words. Another reason that reading out loud improves your comprehension is because it sharpens your focus and eliminates distractions. If you're reading out loud, your mind is concentrating on both the pronunciation of the words and their meaning. It's connecting the muscles needed to produce the sound with the mental activity attaching meaning to those sounds. You're so busy doing all these simultaneous activities that you must focus on the task at hand. Increased focus improves comprehension too. There you go. Reading out loud enhances social connections. Why is it that many experts see reading out loud as such an important part of parenting? Yes, you want your kids to recognize the alphabet and see words. You want them to understand the connection of the squiggly lines on the page to the meaning of the story. But there's something much more important. Reading aloud creates a bond. It's a bond of physical closeness, of sharing thoughts, of being engaged in the same story at the same time. One expert acknowledges that we see the importance of this with children, but we ignore its importance for adults. If you're old enough, you might remember the scene from the film Gone with the Wind, when the ladies have gathered together and Melanie Wilkes is reading out loud to them to pass the time and hide their worry over the fate of their men. It's an activity that used to occur frequently, and it created a sense of camaraderie and togetherness that we might be missing now. Sam Duncan, a literacy specialist, notes, when someone is reading out loud to you, you feel a bit like you've been given a get of their time, of their attention, of their voice, of my voice. Reading out loud is entertainment. I can't count the number of times my husband and I have been sitting in our chairs with our coffee early in the morning, and one of us will say to the other, listen to this, before reading a clip from the news, a funny quote, an email, or a description of something. Reading out loud is a form of entertainment. Audiobooks get this. Listening to stories is fun. It's entertainment, not unlike listening to ghost stories around a campfire. Audiobooks offer fantastic narrators who read with authentic accents, perfect diction, and an understanding of pacing and volume. We like being read to so much that the global sales of audiobooks have increased 25 to 30% every year. this year exceeding $3.5 billion. Reading out loud is not just entertainment, it's a form of beauty, a kind of music created by the rhythm, the speed, the lyricism of the words. Reading out loud reminds us of the beauty of the spoken word, something we sometimes lose when we're reading quickly and silently to ourselves. The sound of language entertains us, it uplifts us, it can also bring us comfort by letting us escape from the here and now to the somewhere else. Try reading out loud. You'll remember what you read, you'll understand it, but most of all, you'll enjoy it. There you go. So, and I kind of knew all these things. This thing put it together very well. But yeah, reading it out loud is important. I wanted to read the New Testament out loud because I wanted to better comprehend it, to better remember it, to be able to focus on it as I was reading it. You know, there's no distractions when you're reading out loud. So that's why I did the Through the Bible series, reading the entire New Testament out loud. So I hope you enjoyed it and continue to enjoy it. I'm going to continue doing this till I've read through the whole Bible and maybe done several studies out loud. So we'll continue these studies out loud. Thanks for listening.